Okay, I just put the second coat on the floor. Really can't show it to you, but I gotta say, it looks a whole lot better than the first coat. It covered really nicely, and 1 gallon was exactly enough. That's really all I can say. It's roughly 200 square feet, and 1 gallon just made it backing out the door. Seriously. Now, so 2 gallons, you know, you almost wish you had an extra quart in there, but they sell it in 1 gallon cans. And it takes 2 cans, so you do the math. Kind of a follow-up tools I may or may not mention. Drill gun. Yeah, you need a good drill gun to run the mixer. And you need an aggressive mixer like this that's going to lift from the bottom and pull up. I also kind of recommend the metal one because it'll be easier to clean off with paper towels and the like. I don't have acetone or anything around, so this one might actually get bead blasted just to get the epoxy off of it. The other thing was these small 2.5 quart plastic Premeasure buckets. I measured the floor into 48 square foot blocks, and I had 4 of those, and I used 1 quart for each block, and I poured it into this container and dispensed it in that square. So I was able to control how much I put down, where it was going down, so I wouldn't run out at the door like I did the day before. The other thing that comes in very handy, let me get it out, is a spatula. You know, one of these pot scraper things. Because not only does it help you to take out the material that's sticking to the sides and the bottom of these cans before you blend it and let it have pot time, but the other thing is it helps you to get everything. When you said you measured 1 quart, you really, all you got is a quart. So you use a spatula to get the rest out of that little measuring bucket. So you get everything to put down on the floor. I'll honestly say that made a difference. Just each time I did it, having that little scraping to put out, to add a little bit more thickness, to be able to touch up in a corner, I was glad to have that extra volume. The rollers you use are important. 3/8 inch nap is recommended by pretty much everybody for this. These have to be solvent resistant rollers. It says all paint. I got these from Sherwin-Williams. It's what they offered me. But the big deal is they have to be resistant to the solvent that's in the epoxy, and they don't start losing their nap and shedding into your paint job that you cry about because you can never get it out again. And did I mention the respirator? Whew, I got to tell you, couldn't do this job without it. Definitely need a VOC respirator, organic vapor respirator. And as I mentioned before, this is a combination because it's the 5203 from 3M, because it also does acid. So when I was acid washing the floor, etching, it also provided protection against that. Hey, you know, you live every day, you only die once. Take care of yourself, you know, wear the proper PPE. I'll say it was strong enough in there today. My eyes were watering, which really kind of surprised me, but my eyes were watering, and I think that's because there wasn't that porous concrete below to absorb so much of it, had nowhere to go but up. So I think actually I had more intense vapors today than I did yesterday. Interesting thought. Well, anyway, last but not least, you have 2 containers. One is a hardener, which is this kind of syrupy stuff, and one is the base, and it's mine happens to be white. The hardener is much thicker than the base, and remember your chemistry, add thick to thin, add acid to water just like you oughter. This is really important when you're first of all taking and scraping up the sides of these and getting these pots stirred up, and then you're mixing them together. The first day when you're using that disposable 1 gallon container, you put the base in there first, and then you pour the hardener on top of it. And today, I mix them up and I pour the hardener into the base color bucket. So what it becomes is B goes into A, not A into B. B goes into A. That's really important. It won't mix, and you'll get stuff stuck to the bottom, and you'll lose some of your value. In fact, I can't say, I think you'll have problems. B goes into A, not the other way around. So recap, B goes into A. Get yourself a spatula to scrape the sides of stuff. Get quality solvent-resistant rollers. Wear a respirator for VOCs, not just dust. VOCs, so it has activated charcoal in there. Get yourself a good paint stirrer with the drill gun to match. Charged batteries. I ate one battery today, had to switch batteries. I'm glad I charged both batteries up. I was ready for that. So, oh yeah, and you blow a buck and you get yourself a cheap shower curtain. My lessons learned from yesterday, and that worked out very well. Okay, that's all from Happy Dog Farm. I'll show you pictures of the floor in a day or two after it's set up. It smells really bad in here. Bye-bye.